right, boys.
ASAP from the Nat. What's good, y'all?
We
back.
are back. And what the hell?
It's good. It's good.
All right, never mind. But anyway,
I think we're good.
we're back, boys. How are we feeling today, man?
Feeling pretty good.
It's a little different perspective here. We got 3 of us here instead of 4,
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Damn you, UPS. They took Trey.
I know, they fucking took him. Hey, but they were paying the man well. So.
They're paying the man damn well.
I respect it.
Well, once again, guys, thank you all for all your guys' support. It really does truly mean a lot to us. We love your feedback as well. I definitely think we got some really good feedback from last episode.
And I think after this episode, we can probably be at 100 subscribers easy after this one.
For sure.
We appreciate all the support, man. We're going to keep doing this, keep getting better with each episode, so appreciate y'all tuning in. Keep tuning in. Give us some talk to us on Twitter. We're on Twitter, ASAP from the Nat.
Yep.
Just check that out and
maybe start tweeting at us or something
for sure.
Let us know what you guys really want to see us incorporate to this, because we're trying to figure out maybe a better platform to where we can entertain you guys a little bit more, but we're trying to think of a good structure for that. So really let us know what you guys think.
I definitely think making a Facebook would be a little bit better too. We need to get to the older audience as well.
We want to cover a multitude of topics. We want to be able to talk about things more than just what we have set aside, like for sports and all that. We want to talk about.
Exactly.
We want to really get into it. We want to learn things ourselves. We want to.
Exactly. And once we start interviewing people too, I definitely feel like once we start interviewing a lot more people, we're going to have a lot more, just a more versatile group, because we're probably going to be interviewing all kinds of people down the line.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, man. Well, let's get right into it, bro. Let's get into football, man. Well, here's the thing, man. The America's team has fallen to 6-6.
I know.
It's not looking too good for them Cowboys down south.
Holla at your boy!
Holla at your boy!
Man, so what the hell must they do to get this train back on track?
Well, all I gotta say is biggest TV audience since the Super Bowl, and they laid an egg.
They truly did. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Buffalo, but let's be honest.
True.
Buffalo was nowhere near the team when it comes to their talent. Their talent is nowhere near Dallas's. Because if you look at Dallas, Dak is first in passing yards in the league. Zeke is 5th in rushing yards. Amari Cooper's 4th in receiving yards. You got Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch on defense, 2 top 50 players in tackles. I mean, what the hell is going on, man?
I don't even think it's. I mean, they only scored 15 points, so there is an issue. There was an issue in that game specifically offensively, but I'm thinking the defense is. I mean, the defense struggled, giving up 26 points to a Buffalo team that's been struggling.
I
think maybe
I feel like the problem could lie on defense a little bit more, because from what you just said with those stats, it seems like the offense is producing.
Oh, the offense is damn good.
Or they have the capability to produce. They haven't necessarily done.
Maybe not even have produced to their full capability.
Expectation,
but,
Because I think Kellen Moore, the OC, has done a really good job in Dallas. It's really just. I think it somewhat goes on the defense, man. Like you said, the defense just... I mean, they got some dudes, man. Like I just said, they got Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch, they got DeMarcus Lawrence on the D-line, they got Antoine Woods from SC, of course.
Okay.
But, I mean, those guys are putting in some work. It's just a matter of coaching, man. It's a matter of executing. They haven't executed. I mean, they could have very easily won that game in New England. Ultimately, yes, the tripping calls were some bullshit, because that hardly ever gets called in an NFL game. And both times that it was called, it was not tripping. They just ran into one another. That ain't no fucking trip. But anyway, I mean, it's just, it just comes down to coaching for me, man. I think Jason Garrett, I think his time's now. He's got to go.
Okay. He's on the hot seat. I mean, Jerry Jones said that he still believes in him and that they wouldn't be able to make the postseason going forward without him. So I think this will really show. He's on the hot seat now. If you can turn things around and lead Dallas to a deep postseason run, then I think he's got a case to keep himself around. But he's going to have to do that.
That's something just part of the business too that kind of sucks too, because they've probably built such a good relationship over the years. It kind of sucks telling somebody like that, hey, you're on the hot seat kind of this year. You might have to take a step back.
It's his last year's in his contract, so he knows.
He knows, man. He knows. But going on, Cleveland has quietly won 3 games in a row since starting the season 2-6. I mean, how do you see this panning out for the Browns?
I mean, we did speak about staying low from the media, not really responding to the media. So they've kind of gone quietly now, and they've been able to. What's happened? They win now because they don't give the media that attention.
Exactly. I like that analogy as well. I like that. I mean, I definitely think this team is a talented ball club, but you must remember they are in the AFC North. And you know who else is in the AFC North? The Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Lamar
Go
has been
Jackson.
going crazy.
Exactly. So, I think it's clear that obviously the Ravens are probably going to pull away with that division, but I could see them, like, if they stretch, they could stretch to get a wild card because they're only one game behind Pitt right now. So.
I mean, in all honesty, I think that's for the second team, like the second place team in the AFC North, because obviously Baltimore's going to win it.
They're
it's
killing shit
obvious.
this year.
I mean, their overall team chemistry is unreal. So the second place team, I mean, I think the best case scenario for that team is maybe a wild card spot, but you also got to think New England's ahead of the AFC East. Buffalo's in that wild card, so I mean that second wild card spot's up for grabs. So
for sure, yeah.
I mean
they're still scheduled to see the Ravens one more time this year, so
it's
gonna be
interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, you got to think, man. I think on offense they're very talented. I mean, obviously you got OBJ, Jarvis. They got Kareem Hunt actually coming in at running back now because he was suspended the first 8 weeks of the season because of he got into some shit in the offseason. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not. He kicked a woman, and that's a no-no, obviously.
That was pretty disrespectful.
But, I mean, they're loaded offensively, but the problem is defensively, they're just a liability, man. I mean, really, the only dudes they got, I mean, in my opinion, Denzel Ward's a fucking dog. Dude came from Ohio State. The dude put up numbers at Ohio State. He's done damn good for the time that he's been in the league. Myles Garrett, well, he's gone. So you got to do what you can with that.
He's screwed with his career a little bit.
They also got a linebacker though, Joe Schobert. I think that's his name. He's like top 5 in tackles. He's not too bad. So
it's not bad.
I mean,
it's like they're becoming a well-rounded team.
They are.
They're showing now. Yeah, they're starting to show now what they were expected to show at the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
Like they've had this capability the whole time. I think it just kind of took the guys maybe in the locker room, getting the chemistry together.
Because you're bringing in guys from all over the league into one and just expecting it to work like that, which isn't going to happen. But
I mean,
it's like the duos in the basketball too. Like how we said, they're probably going to have to work on building that chemistry over this season.
For sure.
And a lot of teams now have kind of started going a little bit. So like.
I mean, and also, I think a lot of people I somewhat saw this season going this way, though. Like, I feel like they were good. They were going to struggle early, considering, like, there were a lot of new faces, a lot of new players, and a lot of egos in that locker room, too. A lot of egos. Sure. But I definitely think they've come around, and I definitely think, obviously, at the end of the season, they got some cupcake teams coming up. They're going to rattle off some wins, and ultimately, I think they potentially could get that second wild card spot, unless the Colts sneak in there, though.
See, I like that. I don't mind that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But, boys, first, we're going to touch on the college football playoff. I mean, we're in the home stretch. We're in the conference championships now. I mean, how do you all see the conference championships playing out when it comes to the Power 5, and who's going to make it into the playoff?
This is going to be off that, but IU did beat Purdue yesterday in a good game.
That's true.
Always good.
That was a hell of a game, too.
Hell of a game. Double OT. Peyton Ramsey put the damn team on his back. You got to love that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the team.
But anyway, for the Pac-12, you got Utah going up against Oregon. Oregon absolutely put a whooping on us.
Yeah. That was rough.
That wasn't pleasant. But we did beat Utah with the third string Matty Fink, baby. Shout out Matt Fink, by the way.
I know, yeah, y'all did beat Utah. That was a pretty good game.
And look, that's the thing too. If a third string, let's just say Utah were to beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. Motherfuckers, y'all got beat by a third-string USC quarterback. What the hell makes you think that you're going to compete against Clemson or LSU? You're going to get fucking ran,
I feel
dude.
that.
But they do have some guys. They got Tyler Huntley, their quarterback. He's a dual threat. He kind of reminds me of Lamar. He's a lot like Lamar in the sense because he can move, he can get out of the pocket, he can improvise, obviously. And they also got a running back, Zach Moss, that has been putting on for Utah the last 4 years. I mean, obviously, you guys probably don't keep track with Utah. I mean, I'm a big USC fan, so I keep up with all the Pac-12. So
that'll honestly be a tough game. Then, from what you said.
Ultimately, out of the Pac-12, I think Oregon gets it done. I think Oregon has a little bit of a better roster than Utah. I definitely think that I think this Mario Cristobal, I think that's his name at Oregon. He's done a damn good job with that squad. I definitely think he's going to outlast Kyle Whittingham in that Pac-12 championship game. SEC, though.
SEC is going to be a battle. Ooh, that's going to be a battle.
LSU, Georgia.
Shit. Who do y'all got in that game, though?
I picked Georgia, but I mean, it's not really based off anything. I think both squads have played great this whole entire season so far. They're both in the top 4 right now, so I mean, I just want to see an upset kind of. I always like to go for the underdog a little bit more.
Yeah, upset would shake a lot of things up if Georgia ends
what
up
I'm saying.
winning.
So
but
you ultimately think Georgia's going to win that game?
For sure.
I'm going to go LSU. I think they've just played so tough consistently all year long. They're undefeated, so...
I like it. Their QB's a dog.
I'm going to be honest with you, man.
Defense is strong.
I'm going to go with Georgia on this one. The only reason why is because I think ever since they lost to South Carolina, I think that kind of like rung their bell a little bit, kind of telling them, hey, you got to fucking play up to your expectation every damn game, bud. There's not going to be a cupcake game in the SEC. The SEC, you're going to get your best. You have to bring your A game every single game, unless you're playing like, I don't know, like Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
For sure.
I mean, they're not as known. But they still, I mean, Vanderbilt and Kentucky can still pull off some magic every now and again. I mean,
just LSU's offense has just been producing like no other.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
why I see
They're very
it's going to
dominant.
be tough for Georgia.
that is
it.
very true.
keep
But
them.
Georgia has a very good offensive attack as well, man. DeAndre Swift, their running back, damn good. He's going first round. Jake Fromm, motherfucker can sling that pigskin. I mean, I don't know.
They got it.
I don't know, but I got Georgia ultimately upsetting LSU in the SEC championship game, and then it's going to cause absolute chaos.
I swear, I like it.
All right, out of the Big Ten, man, you got Ohio State going up against Wisconsin.
I
How do we
think
feel about that one?
that's sad.
OH.
I think
Oh,
Ohio
okay,
State's
man.
gonna take that. They've been playing. They've played great all fucking year so far. They're killing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to think Ohio State. I mean, their receiving core, you got KJ Hill, Olave, you got Garrett Wilson, a freshman Garrett Wilson putting on. Austin Mack, senior wide receiver. You got Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, I could go on and on about that fucking offense.
They
And then
played well
defense.
against Michigan too.
Oh, they played extremely well. They've played well all season. Man.
Exactly.
They really haven't had a game where they just completely, like, just sucked, you know?
Yeah, they would really have to. I feel like they'd really have to like shit the bed, like to just have a loss out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
Like
That's very
Wisconsin making it to the Big Ten. Like,
I mean, Wisconsin lost to Illinois.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that
saying.
should tell you something. You ought to fucking run those.
How well has Ohio State historically played in these type of games?
They normally win.
They normally play
They
well, so
normally
they
play.
produce.
I expect them to come out on top. I mean,
And when's the
Wisconsin's
last
got
time-
Jonathan Taylor, but I still think
when's the last time they
They're
were
gonna
in the
be too much.
playoff?
Ohio State, they were in it.
didn't they get left off it last
I
year?
think they got left off last year, and then they made it the
Controversially.
year before.
They
'Cause
were
I
in
remember
the
they
year
won
before.
a national title with Zeke and
They did, yeah,
JT.
they did.
Yeah, no, it was Cardell actually, because Cardell took over. Remember? Because JT got hurt in that Michigan game. Cardell won the Big Ten championship,
Yep.
and then he went out and won the fucking Natty.
I mean, every year they got a quarterback that can sling it 100 yards.
swear.
Did you see
So-
that? Did you see that post the other day that said that Joe Burrow, Braxton Miller, JT Barrett, and Cardell Jones at one point or another were all in the same quarterback room at Ohio State?
That's insane.
No way.
Absolutely loaded.
The recruiting
What?
there is just
They-
on
they
another
know
level.
talent,
They,
man.
I swear,
they get
yeah.
them in year
And
after
everybody-
year.
That's a skill right there.
And
too.
everybody wonders why these Clemson and Bama and Ohio State and I don't know. We'll just throw in. Well, I've already named Clemson.
Yeah.
Clemson, Ohio State, or not Georgia. Clemson, Ohio State, Bama. And then who else is normally always in it? Oklahoma. You wonder
Oklahoma's
why
in
they're
it a lot,
always
yeah.
in it because they know talent. They know what to spot when it comes to recruiting. They know exactly what guys they want to bring in. And also, it seems that those guys are always very like morally there. You know, like
Yeah,
they have very
that's-
good
that's what I've
morals,
noticed.
very
It's-
good people. You know.
It's like the coaches are really on them and like hound them to be just overall like a better person too. Like
Unless you want to
outside,
fly
off and
your
on the field.
girlfriend out to the game.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you want to do that.
God forbid
Those-
you
those-
fly your girl out to a game.
They'll turn their head, but the NCAA won't.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we all are all agreeing. Ohio State gets this one.
And we got the we got the Big 12 one too. That's Baylor versus Oklahoma.
We all know how that Baylor Oklahoma game turned out the first time. Baylor got a 28-3 lead, and then OU Jalen Hurts absolutely put on a clinic.
I think he's just overall a great like person. Like you hear the way he talks off and on the field too.
Great
like
lead-
just
great
like what I
leader.
said. He's an outstanding.
I mean, you've
leader.
seen it after. I mean, he posts after every single game. He goes to the weight room immediately after. I think it's after every game. He goes to the
Every
weight room
game.
and just
First thing you
fucking
do, go to the
throws
weight room.
on like
I mean, I was
110s on each side.
I was a fan of him playing at Alabama over Tua. I thought I was comfortable with that. I know Tua's a great quarterback too, but I was just always comfortable with Jalen Hurts playing at that spot. I think he's continued to do the same thing at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's winning this
And
game.
I feel like throughout a career, like if you are a backup at a school like Alabama, like it's kind of tough for something to showcase that talent over time. So like I think it's good that he went to another school so he's able to actually showcase it now, because he might have never got that break like fully.
That's true.
You never
And
know.
the thing
like,
is, he never lost confidence in himself. He knew what he was capable of doing, even though there all like the media would get after him as, oh, don't you think you're better? Don't you think you're better? He always made it about the team, and that's what made him a great leader. And I think that's what he's continuing to show at Oklahoma.
Like I feel like if he fits into any NFL team's offense, like they would. I don't think they would choose anybody else over him. Like I feel like he's one of the best QBs in the league.
He's the perfect quarterback build. Have you seen him?
Oh,
he's huge.
He's killing it.
And
dude.
also, I think part of the reason why he left Bama is because, I mean, obviously in that SEC championship game, when he did get sat out, or no, was it the Natty? Oh yeah, it was the Natty against Georgia. I mean, Georgia playing for just Jalen. You know, they were game planning around Jalen. They hadn't seen any tape of Tua, so they didn't know what he was about. Hardly anyone. Alabama hardly had any fucking tape on Tua. The only games he went in is when they're up 70 against Vandy.
Exactly.
I mean, who the fuck cares about that? You know. But, I mean, Tua stepped up, and he showed that he's a fucking starter in this league,
and like
too.
props to him too. Like
props to Tua.
That's where you build that little competition. Yet you guys have a good relationship too. Like that's just part. It's part of the sport. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, I think in the Big 12, I got Oklahoma winning that game. Obviously, like we just mentioned, Jalen Hurts is an amazing leader. They got a great offense. They got C.D. Lamb on that
Outstanding
offense.
receiver.
Outstanding receiver. Now defensively, the Big 12 is kind of ass, and they're kind of known for that. But hey, Oklahoma does have the number one defense in the Big 12. So
see, defense, like college football in general, like I feel like I never pay attention to the defensive side as much, like compared to the NFL. Like,
because it's all flash with college football.
It really is.
The
stars really aren't there on the defensive side. I mean, they are, but you have like the
they're not as
Clownies.
noticeable.
It's not like they get noticed basically like till the league or something like that.
Exactly.
Till they're on the draft boards, till it's time to start talking about that.
And you're like, dang, who's this guy? But he's been dogging like all year.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, boys. Let's move on to ACC.
Colts.
You got Clemson going up against Virginia in the ACC.
Oh yeah, we still got
you're trying to
ACC.
bring
Yeah,
up the
my
Colts.
bad. I thought we were moving ahead.
Clemson versus Virginia.
Can't forget about that game. Yeah.
It was Virginia's,
Why
because
even
Virginia
talk about it?
clinched it by beating their arch rival Virginia Tech. It was like the first time in 8 years since they had beaten Virginia Tech. So obviously they think they're the big swinging dick going out to the ACC championship game. But in fact, you're going to get absolutely demolished.
In reality, it was the second place, the winner, the game they were playing for second place because Clemson's not.
I think it's the same scenario here. Great QB, great leader. Like he's gonna flourish in the league.
Great
I think
coach,
for sure. Like
great coaching staff.
I mean,
I think that's said in itself.
I don't even think we need to even talk about it.
No,
Clemson's been a dominant.
They're gonna be a
team.
favorite to win it.
I mean, I think
they've been dominant over the past few years.
I think last night was the passing of the torch in a sense, because I think Bama. I'm not saying that they're going to start a downfall.
Because Saban's record's unreal. Like,
he's a legend in itself. But I definitely think that Clemson has taken over college football now. I think they are the kings of college football.
I can agree with that. I could see that because they've been up in that playoff the last 3 or 4 years now, right?
Mm-hmm. Clemson's been in it every year mostly.
They've been killing it.
It's going to be about who they can bring in, how well the recruiting is going to be after Trevor Lawrence is gone, after some of these bigger guys are
think they've done a damn good job, though. They've done a really good job of out-of-state recruiting, too, because there's this dude named Justin Flo. He's from Upland, California. Dude's the number one rated linebacker in California. I think he's the number one rated athlete in the country. And USC, I mean, they tried, they swung, they missed, and I think he's about to go to Clemson.
But winning speaks for itself in those situations.
Exactly. I mean, they have the proof. They have proof. Like, hey, we can get you to the league. Like with USC, they haven't been as successful.
And I like that. Like I like when there's a passing of the torch, like you said, because like you get annoyed watching the same teams over the few years. Like it's nice when teams pop up. Like USC had their time at one point over the years. Like like all these teams have different time periods, but I think it's good like when you see another team start to step up and that's when it comes to all sports. I feel like
oh yeah, definitely.
It's just nice for a change. Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm. Boys, so let's move on. Man, the Colts. They can't seem to catch a break. T.Y. suffered a setback in his rehab of the calf injury. Eric Ebron has announced on Twitter and other social media platforms that he is done for the season. He's been dealing with an ankle injury all season.
This season, oh my God. You see the start. You saw like if you would have told me 3 weeks before the season started like that this would have turned out like this, I would have never believed it.
The season's been like this.
It's a roller coaster.
I swear,
it started
bro.
like this though with Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
he's
it's
retired.
starting to fucking
We're like,
plummet
oh,
to hell. You
yeah.
know, I mean,
Then we
it's
got-
kind of like the yodeling guy on The Price is Right. And then once Andrew Luck retired, you going down. But
They still have a chance to save themselves though.
oh,
moving
100%.
forward, so.
I think the Colts ultimately control their own destiny because look, in years prior, Houston's not gonna be consistent. Houston's a roller coaster too, okay?
Yeah,
because you got to
definitely.
think their offensive line is a liability. If Deshaun Watson gets hurt at all during the season, they
Big.
are done. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They're done.
And I feel like a lot of times during this season, he's having to escape the pocket. He's having to
Exactly, that's what I'm
escape
saying.
pressure. Like it's only a matter of time. Like you got to protect him, or he's gonna, he's gonna.
And that's
go
why
down.
I say props to the Colts for still being one game out. Like
Oh, all props.
it's
to
insane.
them.
Like
I mean,
the division
is
itself
soft.
might not
It's
be.
kinda-
Yeah,
it's
it
kinda
might not be the
weak.
best, but like
I
it's-
think Chris Ballard has done mostly everything right. He's a damn good GM. Man.
Great,
He's brought
great.
in amazing guys that can easily fill their role. I mean, last year's draft, all those guys that he drafted are playing on Sundays now. Like
Exactly,
they're either
yeah.
rotating or
Oh, yeah.
actually starting. Like that, he has shown that.
And
he
Frank's
knows
been a
what
great
he's
coach.
And
this
we've
year.
just had to battle injuries like
Exactly.
throughout the whole season. Like if you're just 100% healthy playing with this team, I think they have this was a good like base season just to go off of so far, like what we've seen. Just
Exactly,
moving
'cause
forward, I think the future's bright for them.
Because they're gonna have most of the same team next year, right? I don't see any. I don't think there's
I
any
don't think
people leaving.
anybody's
Really.
leaving. I think and that's the thing with the Colts too, man. They have no egos in that locker room, man. They
Yeah,
have
like
no guys
I
that
feel
are,
like they're all chill. They're
no,
all homies.
everybody's. I mean, I'm telling you, it just seems like that locker room is just very, very chill. Like nobody has beef with
Like you got
anybody
Vinatieri,
else.
he'll turn up and dance with them. Like if one of the youngest dudes on the team's just over here turning up, like he gets up and starts going
got
with them.
44-year-old.
When they score a touchdown, you always have the whole like team that's on the field at that point in the end zone. They're like, hey.
Yeah, but they took like the
Exactly,
team
it's a
type
whole
stuff.
team.
I'm like,
shoot,
hey,
bro.
I like
It's
that.
awesome. I love that. But I mean, overall, I mean, I definitely think the Colts control their own destiny at this point. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, if Houston, O-line of Houston has been a liability for years for them. If Deshaun gets hurt in any way, shape, or form, I think anybody with the right mind will tell you that team is not going to go far in the playoffs, and they probably won't win the division if he gets hurt.
Exactly.
I just think
so.
And now, I'm not saying I want him to get hurt because obviously I want Deshaun to. I don't want anyone getting hurt. Obviously,
Exactly,
Deshaun's
yeah.
a very special player. Okay,
Exactly, it's Clemson guy. We were just talking about.
exactly. He won him the national title. Hunter Renfro's a damn good star too. He won him the national that game-winning catch in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
against Bama, that was hype. But anyway, going back to the Texans, I mean, ultimately, I think the Colts control their own destiny.
I think they just have to have some things go right. We've had a lot of things
exactly.
go wrong.
We need a little bit
Exactly.
of help.
The game
Some
against
good-
the Titans, they really got to bank on winning out the rest of the season. I
Yeah,
think.
some
And
good,
I mean, I think we've won against the Titans like 10 times in a row or something like that. We've won the
Let's
last.
hope you didn't
like,
just jinx
Yeah,
it.
let's not
Let's
jinx
hope you
it,
didn't
but-
just jinx it.
Yeah, let's hope. I mean, the last time I said that too, and they beat the Titans.
they
so
can
we'll
still
see.
the Colts can still make the playoffs and they can still have a
100%.
decent run at it as long as
But-
things have to go our way.
But this game is very important too against the Titans because I think
Conference.
whoever loses this game is going to need a lot of help in order to make the playoffs. So this is a very important
Even to
game
be
for the
like
Colts.
a
Colts
like
are at home, so
even like we
were
talked
at home
about-
against the Dolphins, and look what happened.
exact dude. Oh my
right.
gosh, they couldn't have asked for an easier. Like, honestly, the way that their season ends is set up pretty nice. Like they
It's
got
not bad, but we're at New Orleans, dog.
other than that
later
game.
on.
Like other than that game, I don't see anything like wrong with the past 3 or 4 weeks. Even like they've been playing the scrub teams. Like they should be producing easy.
It should.
Kind
Well,
of
boys,
sucks, but
Let's move on to music, man. Uzi finally tweeted on Thanksgiving in a while, and he was shooting some shots.
okay for the
Went
smoke.
after Don Cannon, said DJ Drama was broke, and he said Uzi he said him and Cardi are not close anymore. He
Come
said
on,
they
man, that's
gone
gotta
a
be
different
cap.
route. But
That's
here's
gotta
the
be
thing.
cap.
Uzi, if you say that you're not cool with him, but you're good, you'd want to have like a friendly dress off with them, you're capping. He's fine.
Exactly,
They're
like,
cool, bro.
at the
There's
same
no
time,
way.
like it could just be something, like Uzi could be a little bored. He kind of stays off the media a little bit. He might just be doing something to where like maybe they want to bring a little bit more attention, and maybe he thinks people have maybe taken away from EA a little bit, waiting for it to drop. So he's trying to bring something back to where he's a little bit more relevant right before maybe he wants to drop it.
So what's up with the Eternal Atake album? Like why? Because
Dude, we've known about it.
Loud.
Yeah.
He said my album's done. Are
was
y'all
back-
ready for my album?
That was back in May. We're looking at December.
Love
1st.
is Rage 2. I remember the first time I saw anything about it. And this said coming soon. Like it was like coming soon. Like he's worked on a lot of the album already. He didn't even release it for almost a year and a half after I saw that. Like from the first time that I heard coming soon for that album, the shit still didn't release for a year and a half.
So where does the blame go then? Is that on the record label or is that on Uzi? Like what's going on here?
I mean, that's a good question because like I've never been in the rooms or anything, but like
if
we
you
want
to come on and explain to us how that works, if you're an artist, come on. ASAP.
And I think
We
it
wanna
works
know.
like this a little bit. Like I think labels kind of assign artists like a time to drop an album according to like their likeliness, things like that, the analytics through their past sales and stuff. So they kind of set them up a time to drop stuff all throughout the year. So they have an artist kind of releasing something major throughout the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
But with Uzi, like I feel like we've known about Eternal Take for over a year now. So
And I think you touched on it. You
I don't
touched
know.
on it well.
I don't know.
Like he touched on it. It's just like, it's label issues. He doesn't always have all that
Then
control.
sign with a different label. Like I don't get why this is such
well,
a
sometimes too you've already taken money. And then you can get in a lawsuit because of trying to leave.
Yeah,
like
didn't
sometimes
Wayne
they're
got in a
petty.
lawsuit with who was it? Was it Birdman not too long ago over a record
Yeah.
label?
I think they ironed that out.
Yeah, they
I'm pretty
ironed
sure
that
now,
out. But I mean, it's
Even Jack Harlow got brought into it because he
on that
he
note,
was trying to take DJ
on that No
Drama's
Jumper
side.
interview. Shout out No Jumper again for
shout
sure.
out Adam 22
Always.
Because
always
they were talking to Harlow on there, and Harlow was like, or he said Uzi put a picture of Harlow on his story with a clown emoji or something like over Harlow's face, and
Harlow hasn't done anything. What has Harlow ever done to you?
he said it's because he's been hanging around
The
Don
caption,
Cannon and Drama.
the caption was he like DJ Drama is the reason why he's starting to really blow up, and
Exactly.
he's getting his opportunities.
And
so-
DJ Drama is a platform for a lot of these artists that have on.
right,
Like,
especially
he has,
I know that. Yeah,
he's a
Drama,
huge contender.
yeah.
And all
So the
that.
caption was double tap if you're still waiting on Eternal Take to
Yeah,
drop.
and he had his
So-
arm around DJ Drama in the picture.
So
like,
obviously Uzi's gonna take that.
that's kind of when the beef I
they're
think
against me.
arose. But yeah, so he said I don't know if Uzi likes me now or not, but he said I'll always like it. Like he's like I can't wait for Eternal Take to come out for real. Like he said it on the interview. He was like it'll probably inspire me to probably make something better too. So
My thing is just don't take it so personal. Don't come out for blood. People are just waiting for your music because we all liked your music.
We
your albums
love
that
your
you've put
music,
out.
Uzi. We need
it,
dog.
We
Like
need
that's
it.
we're just waiting. Like because the thing is, like we've heard some. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and cap. I've heard a couple leaks from it, and it's fire. Just release the shit, dog. Same thing with Cardi too. Like if you're so concerned about all these leaks and people like taking your money and
Yeah,
shit,
so-
just release the album.
So this
dog.
is actually what I just found. So I guess that Drama and Don Cannon, because they're Uzi's old managers and everything. Like they worked with Uzi when Don Cannon worked with Uzi and everything when he was first starting out, and how he kind of right when he blew up, they were both working with him. So it says on here like that they told him that he needed to drop the album to meet their financial obligations because. Uzi's been like continuing to call like the Drama like he's been continuing to call them like broke right now I guess because like they're trying to get their financials from helping them, but I think this could be on Uzi then. Like
I think they're
it
just
seems
looking
to me
out for
like
themselves.
it seems to me like he might be able to
Well,
drop
obviously,
the album. I don't
the
know.
more you wait, the more. I mean, the people are expecting it to come,
That's
so
what I'm
it's going to
saying.
get
Like
bigger.
I can see why.
And I understand
Drama-
the anticipation too and everything, but like this long though, Uzi, like he said at Rolling Down Miami when you were there, bro. He said, what did he say? He said,
I just finished the last song to the album.
and then he said,
Ready for it?
He said, yeah, y'all ready for it? Nah, that sounds like you're ready for somebody else's album.
Like, and that's the thing. Like,
Which in
Uzi has to
turn,
remember
you
that.
know-
Hey, they're trying to make. I get that, Uzi. You have millions. I understand that. You got some bands.
And that's the
but
thing,
here's
too,
the
like-
thing. DJ Drama and Don Ken are just looking out for their own money too. They want to get their guap
And-
too.
and I
Uzi's
mean-
so fucking ruthless.
What
And
did
the thing
what did
is-
he initially say? What did Drama initially say that?
So I
that
guess
caused this
I guess
beef?
the initial,
I don't know.
at least from what I'm seeing on here, seems like initially the old managers, DJ Drama and Don Cannon, they told him that they're like, hey, you need to drop the album, man. Like, we've all been waiting for.
So do you
you know, you don't even know what goes on behind the closed doors too. They might have all had a good conversation about a good time to drop it too, and maybe it never happened.
Do you
and
think
they were
they're
just
waiting
like, what the
as
hell?
like? Do you think they're waiting as in like fans of him, or just because maybe they have some
At the same time, but
maybe they have some
probably
work in
helped,
this album.
They
That's what I'm
probably
saying,
helped
yeah.
him. Yeah, I'm sure they helped him. But at the same time, like, Drama and Don Cannon are not fucking broke.
No, obviously not. But they're.
Like they do not give a
He's-
fuck.
But they
he's-
always are
just-
striving to get more. I understand what they're going through.
He's
Like,
saying
I-
y'all
Exactly.
must be if you're waiting for this album so bad so you can get your profit off of it. You must.
and you
be.
can make some profit too, Uzi. So what the fuck is the deal?
It's a business,
That's what I don't
man.
understand.
Like I get getting caught up in the whole act of it all too, like in the fame and everything. But like at the same time, they just want to make their money. Like they worked hard on the album. They want to make their money. That's
Hey,
that's
lay
the
off
basis
the
of it.
ecstasy, Uzi. You look a little fucked up, bud. But anyway, let's go on.
Hey, but we do like
Hey,
it.
we respect
fuck
it,
with it.
But you need to get off the drugs.
He said it, not me.
Hey, I said it. I said it, Uzi. I did. So come after me. But anyway, Post wins Rap Album of the Year at the AMAs, man. How do we feel about that?
I mean, I like it. I don't
you like
see why everybody's hating on it. Yeah, he's a singer, but at the same time, he came into the game with White Iverson. That's what blew him up. People said he came into the game as like or not necessarily like an industry plant. What did they try to call it? Like basically
appropriating the culture.
Yeah, appropriating. Like he got in like that just to basically do what he's doing now. But I mean, I think overall the album had a great.
Listen on his new album. He's rapping on it. Like he's
The-
got Meek.
the
He's got
whole
artists
moral.
like Meek Mill. He's got Travis Scott. He's got all these rappers in
Young
here with
Thug,
him. So
like-
how could you not consider him to be a rapper?
But
Thug-
I
Thug is on the
understand
album, yeah.
where people are coming from, though. What they're saying is a lot of his flows sound like pop, and a lot of his songs, I think people can agree. Yes, I think White Iverson he could somewhat sounded a little bit pop.
And honestly, aren't we at the point now where in our culture you just basically get to say what genre your music's gonna
Yes.
be? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it goes nowadays. Like, even if you're not a rapper, you make an album where you're singing or just it's more melodic. Like, they can still say that that's a rap album. Like, they're the ones that are uploading it ultimately. Like, and nobody else decides that. It's basically what you upload it as is gonna decide what that can get nominated as.
Wait, did that win Album of the Year over? Who all was in the running for?
I'm not-
Album of the Year?
I'm not
Was it
completely sure.
Astro World, I think.
See, I thought that would have been a really good contender too. I'm sure that was in the running.
I think it was. I think it was.
But my thing is, like, it's a great moral too. Like, the album is called Hollywood's Bleeding. Like, he's literally trying to show that Hollywood and the fame, like, don't get all wrapped into all of that. Like, he's saying there's a dark, like, in an interview I watched with him, he actually bought a place out in Utah just to get away from everything. Like, it's more secluded. He can just chill, play his music. Like,
I feel
he's
that,
chilling
man.
in, like, the mountains or something, like, in Utah. Like, he's
So in that
loving it.
interview, did he ever like describe like? Did he ever like hit just a dark place? Like he was in a dark.
So he said it wasn't really him that hit a dark place, but like more so that there was like a darkness he saw in Hollywood. Like even on sunny days, he'd just wake up and would look out there at the city, or at night he'd be looking at the lights of the city, and he'd just be like, I don't know, there's like a darkness to it. He's like, I don't know what it is, what he's feeling, but he just said
I think
he felt it.
a lot of this. Okay, so Post Malone obviously is like he's like the top selling artist. Like
He
what,
is.
no matter what genre you want to put him in, he's the top.
His album
artist.
sales did have one of the most.
These are
this
based
year.
off of favorite albums for the AMAs. Like it was between him, Travis's Astroworld, Meek Mill's Championships. I think no matter what, like it's just if it's off fan vote, if it's off popular opinion, you're gonna see Post Malone in that
exactly
album in that.
And I think Post
conversation.
Malone hits more of the female audience too. I feel
Oh,
like there's
for sure.
there's way
That's
more
what comes with the
female fans
singing.
of Post than there are of Travis. I think most people could
For sure.
easily
Because
figure that out, you know?
yeah, you got to look at that. Like, you got to look at partially what they've talked about too. Like, Travis got some love songs and things like that. Like, he's got a song with The Weeknd on Rodeo. He's got older songs. He's got songs on Astroworld that got a good feel like that. But like, Post is really coming after like he hits that part. Like
He's
that's
versatile.
really what he's talking
He's
about.
versatile. What's
Yeah.
there to hate on that for?
He's very versatile. I will give him that. But
even like he can even reach the older demographic of like older people like that.
Like a
even
lot of
they
our
like
parents,
him.
a lot of our parents, a lot of adults
Right.
know like who Post
My
is
dad
now,
fucking-
without even
And they
listening.
like
to
him, yeah.
my
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
said that's
Papa
one
Storm
of his
fucking
favorite
loves
artists.
it.
He said he fucks with Travis, Future, Post, who else? Young Thug. Done lived.
See, and that's just from us, like listening to music with them and shit. Like,
Did a lot of shit just to live this here.
Well, with it being-
that's what my dad loves, dude.
that
Yeah.
song is lit.
With it being December though, so looking back at the year in review, who do you think's had the best year of 2019?
There was a lot to consider here, but ultimately, I mean, this is gonna sound like cliche to say because
Mine
obviously
will
this
too, a little
dude,
bit,
like,
but-
obviously has done well in 2019. But I think DaBaby has taken off.
That's what I.
2019.
Did you really write that down too?
I mean,
or is that who you was
There-
thinking?
You know I've been talking about it
Bro,
past
like,
episodes.
How can you not say that he hasn't had the
He's
biggest
taken
year
off
this year?
on all platforms,
Like,
not just music, and like social media,
Exactly.
Instagram, Twitter, the Triller videos, TikToks. He has taken off.
And that's the thing that a lot of rappers need to try to hit, because like I feel like DaBaby is getting to the point where he's only been out for this long, and like we just said, I feel like a lot of adults already know like who he is or what he is. Like Migos and them finally started going and performing on like Jimmy Kimmel, like Jimmy Fallon, shows like that. Like DaBaby's finally getting out to those types of platforms, which is what's showing the older audience like who these people are. Like they're not just rappers or anything that you like think that they are. Like they're really good people.
They're
Like
good
they're
people.
cool ass people that they got a good mindset.
And
They're
that's
thinking
what
of
I-
it in a business
and
like
that's
state.
the
Like,
thing. Like when it going towards the
thinking ain't home.
AKA
going
Jimmy
towards
Fallon.
the audience, like I think like the audience shouldn't just take the artist's lyrics and make a prejudgment about them. You have to know them as a person. Like I've seen
Exactly.
multiple interviews of DaBaby. He's a very caring father. He takes care of his kids.
Oh,
He
definitely.
takes care of his people.
He's
you
had
know?
to
He's
go
a
through
good
shit.
dude.
Like he's ultimately went through a ton of shit. Like he's had people break into his home. He's talked about and
His
shit
dad
before. Like,
died right before the release of the Kirk album.
Right
Like,
when he got Grammy nominated too. Like he found out about that within I think the same day. He said in
Yeah,
an
he
interview,
was
like,
within the same night, bro.
Like, that's
He's
crazy.
put in work. First artist to come out of Charlotte. You know, he talks about that because he put in that work himself. He put in a lot of the work that nobody sees. They just see him on now, and they you know.
and that's
love
like
to
what
hate
we're
when someone
talking
gets
about. Like
on.
why we're doing something like this. We want more artists to just flourish from the Midwest. Like there's not a lot of people. Like we said, like
There's really not. I mean, really, the only ones I can name. I mean, obviously, Trippie came out of Ohio. Mark Battles came out of Indiana. But other than that, like, there's a lot of
and then
Chicago
there's a ton of
artists,
people in
obviously.
Louisville. Like I would consider all the Louisville people, Tiller, Harlow, and all them.
yeah.
And there's a ton of people that we're not even naming that we might not even know about that are out there too. Like
I think definitely DaBaby has to be because, I mean, he just blew up onto the scene. Like, there's not anybody that probably doesn't know who he is. And I was watching a video on Genius about them talking about him getting the hate for all songs sounding the same. And it was a lot of talking about to Jetson on the beat. About him putting together, like, that's just, he wanted to really emphasize that sound of like an East Coast rapper, like of him. So the way he constructed the beats, like it fits his personality, it fits his sound, it allows him to
That's what I'm saying, like,
get out what he's
with-
about
with
in
a
the
different-
right way. It's just a good feel, good vibe. It's just whenever you hear it, you know who it is. It's distinguished.
Yes,
And
exactly.
You
He
can't.
has a radio voice. Exactly. Kind of
Exactly.
like how I think one of the biggest things for an artist is you have to have a recognizable sound, and I think DaBaby has taken and ran with it. Travis ran with it. Trippie, I think Trippie's he's getting to that point where he's a radio voice now. You know,
Number one
album in the world
right
now. I mean, even though I'm not as big of a Trippie fan as some people are, the man has put in the fucking
And he had a
work.
lot of good features on there, and he's smart about that too. Look who he put on the album. DaBaby had a good song on there. That's probably I guarantee you, that's one of the most listened songs on that album.
And it works with other people. That's how he can appear in so many features because it works on that too.
And
It
that's
works on
like
almost
that's like
anything.
how I talked about Gunna before. I knew of Gunna like 2-3 years ago. Like he was always in songs like that I saw, like it featured always. I never knew his music though, like as much. I just always saw him featured and stuff. But that's the same thing. Like I felt like I saw Gunna on every platform. Now look at him. Like I feel like I've seen DaBaby on a ton of people's albums now. Like now look at him. Like
And the funny thing is, like, some people shit on DaBaby's flow and everything, but it's like, hey, obviously it's working, dude. I mean, the dude has been featured on all these different features. Obviously, something's working.
Like
here.
he said, like those beats do match his energy. Like, and at the same time, I guarantee you down the line, like DaBaby will get into acting, like we talked about.
Yep,
like
as you should.
Like
He's
just
already
like
got, he's already got Foot
like
Locker commercials.
Drake is one dude. As much as people like don't like him sometimes, I run into a ton of people who don't like Drake as much. It's weird.
I don't understand.
But I don't understand why. But like he is a total actor too. Like he's great. He would be great. He needs to be like in more movies.
He's
hilarious,
hilarious,
Man,
bro.
A lot of these guys, they need.
He's a great personality.
A lot of these guys need to get into more endorsements. I feel like though, I don't see as many commercials with these guys. Man, DaBaby could easily get his ass on a commercial.
Look at him in the Foot Locker commercial. He's in one with Anthony.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying he needs people. No more artists, and not only DaBaby, but more artists need to get more into the endorsement side of it because I feel like they could benefit greatly off of that. And a lot of these other like older audiences, obviously a lot of the older audiences, a lot of just people in general watch TV. So seeing them on a commercial, be like, oh shit, who's this guy? I might give him a listen.
That's one thing too. Like there are a lot of people out there. Like I've talked about Nav on here before. I've talked about plenty of people. People who try to stay away from social media more, they might not want to get those types of endorsements. Like they don't want to have that spotlight on them all the time. Like DaBaby, he eats that up. Like he loves it. He loves it. But some people, like they like their breaks away from everything.
I feel like that's how Cardi is. I feel like Cardi's very
Uzi's
secluded.
just like that
Uzi's
too.
Just like that. They don't like to be in the limelight of everything. Which, in a sense, I could see why. I mean, you guys are in Hollywood. You're on the biggest of platforms. Like music is a huge.
Like you cannot
going to get noticed.
You can't go out to the grocery store. Like,
like you can't.
You can't go get something that simple.
People,
like
you know. So, boys, I think that about wraps up music. Let's get into basketball, man. The Nets are 7-1 without Kyrie since he last played on the 14th against Denver. What do we make of this? I mean, shit.
I really think that it's this. Now that I'm really thinking about it, Dinwiddie is the PG right now, right? He's a starter.
I believe so. He may be the 2 guard, but you might want to look.
But
that up.
Dinwiddie, I feel like he's even without Kyrie now, he's kind of had to step up and be more of the leader.
Yeah.
So I feel like Dinwiddie and all the other guys on the team had that chemistry within the last few years.
Because last year they made a nice little run.
Kyrie's obviously new to the team this year. Maybe it's just ironing out that type of stuff. Like even when KD comes back, I bet they'll be a little rocky for a minute, but I bet they'll figure it out and everything down the line.
I don't know. I just think maybe it's just a media whirlwind kind of like calms down whenever, Kyrie's not in the game because he's just a superstar level player.
But then
maybe the other guys
can
focus or something.
But the thing is just because he's not playing, he's with the team every day. He's around them. He's providing his leadership every day. So, who's to say maybe you can credit Kyrie to maybe what he's doing on the sidelines. I mean, he has to deal with the media, people always on him.
Dude, I don't understand what it is with Kyrie. He is just
he's a
normal
guy.
Dude. He goes about all the stuff very logically. Like
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know about the whole flat Earth theory. That was a little weird.
I
think
he went back to school. I think he went back to Duke. And
he apologized to the professor.
I think they were like.
Because the professor spoke some sense into him.
Did he? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You've never seen that video when he goes back to
I didn't
Duke,
see
and
that.
That professor is just straight on his head about that.
That's
going
hilarious.
off, and finally Kyrie's just sitting there. He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
So I think it's a good thing. I mean, if they're 7-1 without him, and then 10.
Once you implement him in,
just get them back in and keep things how they were.
Yeah, I think this has helped. Helped them kind of get everything together now, so that when he steps back in, they'll do a lot better.
I think at times though, Kyrie may be a little bit ball dominant. Like obviously he should be. He's the star on the team.
You're one of those key players.
Too.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw in Boston when him and Hayward are out, they took LeBron to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I think it's more of the young guys.
They have a solid young core.
They
do.
They are a pretty young team.
I think people are underrating the hell out of Nets.
Dinwiddie is one dude that is so slept on.
I know.
Dinwiddie is outstanding.
Joe
Harris, DeAndre Jordan still putting up
Karis LeVert.
Jared Allen.
That Jared Allen dude's a dog.
Dude, I'm telling you, the fro is putting in some work.
I know.
Now.
He went to. I found out he went to Texas. I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went to Texas with KD, or not with KD, but obviously the same.
A lot of potential in Brooklyn.
A lot of of potential.
is,
That's
yeah.
one team you need to keep an eye on. Now, I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run this year, just considering, the Eastern Conference, you still got Boston, you got Milwaukee. They're those guys are probably going to be running
Next year, though, with KD,
it's going to be interesting.
This is going to be nice.
It's going to be nice.
That's going to be nice.
Boys, the college basketball season has kicked off, man. We've seen some upsets so far. You got Evansville taking down to Kentucky. You got Duke falling to Stephen F. Austin on a game-winning transition layup. What the...
Let's talk about that game right now.
Yeah, let's go in.
That was at Duke.
That's in Cameron Indoor. They had won 150 straight non-conference home games, or non-conference games or home games.
Home games.
That was my thing too, because I've noticed that every team that has beat them there, because it's always so rare anyway. A lot of it is always a conference team or like a big rival or something that they're kind of like expecting it to be a tough game or something like that. But Stephen F. Austin out of nowhere, bro.
Dude,
that Bain guy, he dipped on that layup. He split the defenders and got it right at the buzzer, bro. It was insane.
The one upset, obviously that surprised the hell out of everybody in the college basketball landscape, but I think that Evansville game was insane.
And I think this shows that this year,
it's up for grabs.
It's gonna be a weird year. Yeah, you're gonna see the top 25 changing every week.
I just think that's it's just the parity of it. it's really competitive this year. Just teams are getting better. No matter who you're playing, and you have to show up or you'll get beat. It's just like it is in the NBA. And like I said last week, talking about basketball being at its purest form of talent and everything. Yep. This just goes to show you that teams, players are getting better. Teams are getting constantly better. So you have to show up to play or you will lose.
And with AAU, nowadays, kids doing that before college, that, I feel like they're so used to playing so many games, and then you get in the college season, it's really go time. It's time to play every game.
My next question to you guys is, what's some teams that you should keep an eye on? This team is for real. This team might have a run at a national title. What are some of those teams for you guys?
Louisville. I think Louisville. They just moved
up
to number
there,
1, and they're not really getting a whole lot of talk, but they're solid.
And they've been slept on. I've actually always liked Louisville's program.
Solid recruiting class, really good recruiting class. So I expect them to play well.
So they're not bribing any of the recruits with strippers anymore, are they? Prostitutes. Rick Pitino, you slang.
Hey, let's be honest though. A lot of schools probably are still getting.
Well, I don't know about a stripper. I'd throw in some cash though if I were a recruiter. I don't know. That's just me. Who do you got?
Surprising team this year. I'm not even really gonna pick one because I really don't even think.
Oh, come on.
Have you not been watching basketball?
I've been watching, but I'm trying to really think. I really think it's up for grabs this year. I don't know who's gonna be a title contender right out the blue.
For Duke and Kentucky,
it's still early
to have these losses early. It's not really gonna make that big of an impact.
It's still early for them.
If anything, it's gonna help them moving forward. I think because losses this early in the season, it's December.
They don't mean shit.
They don't. All it does is teach you that look, you can be beat, so you better be on your game moving forward.
But Cassius Stanley did get hurt recently, hamstring injury, untimely return.
Did he really?
Luckily, it wasn't a knee injury.
Honestly, there you go. I'll say Michigan State.
Michigan State?
Because I don't know. I've liked Izzo always, and they have always been a consistent team that's always made it far in the tourney. They've never got it done a lot of times, but they've always been in that Final Four, Elite Eight, usually every year it seems like.
I think one team that people need to keep an eye on, man, Michigan has shown up.
We were watching their game.
Has done a damn
great
good
job with the coach. Did you
dude.
see that thing after the game? They were talking about, there was some rumors or something, I don't know, maybe some talk about Juwan Howard, I don't know, maybe not being as good of a coach as they expected or people, but there was a thing after the game
really?
Showing people that every one of their players looked the opponent in the eye, shook their hand, was saying the exact same thing, every one of them straight in line, and he was they were look at that, that proves right there that he's running this program the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Michigan's gonna be tough too, and the Big Tens.
They got I don't want to
Big Ten basketball, nice.
Names, but Eli Brooks, they got Livers, is that his name? Teskey.
That point guard, the Simpson.
Xavier Sampson is a dog, dude. I'm telling you, that team.
Killing it.
Also, did you see the stat that battle for Atlantis, the last 2 champions of that tournament, has gone on to win the national title?
No way, I actually didn't see that.
So, I'm telling you, that's one team to keep an eye on.
And him and me were talking about how, when we were watching one of the games from that tourney, we were talking about how they've had that track record for some really solid point guards like, what'd you say? They're notorious for kind of having players kind of stick around.
I mean, yeah, they get the 3-4
Trey
year
Burke stuck around
guys.
for 4 years.
He was there all 4 years.
feel
Look,
like
he's doing pretty well.
I feel like they've just been rotating like guards. Like, okay, he stays 3 years to the league,
and then it's like they get a really good guy. Like another guy really steps up.
It's a good system.
They do a really good job of developing young guys. I've noticed they've done a really good job of that. Like Xavier Sampson did he?
Well, you got Beeline, who's in the NBA now.
Exactly. I love him as a coach.
He's obviously knows what he's doing.
I love that dude as a coach. He's a great coach, and I really hope that he like starts building the Cavs up a little bit because they're a young squad too.
They are very young out, and shout out to D. Wynn as always.
Exactly. Yeah, D. Wynn out there on them.
Yeah, he's apparently he's supposed to play here in a couple weeks. So
I hope so. I really want to see him get in there. Yeah,
looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
So obviously, boys, the Eastern Conference teams when it comes to the NBA isn't getting as much love as the Western Conference teams, but should they be getting some love? What do y'all think?
You know, I think obviously we should consider the Bucks. Who shouldn't? They've been a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Heat are a little sleeper this year. I don't know about going like super far, but we've talked about how well they've turned it on this year. It seems like they've really got it going.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I definitely think Boston. I mean, you got to look at Boston. They're 7th when it comes to defense.
Brad
They're 15th
Stevens, great
offensively,
coach.
7th in point differential. I mean, they obviously know what the hell they're doing. Brad Stevens has done a hell of a job with that team. They got a lot of young guys. They got a lot of depth at each position. I mean, they know what they're doing over there in Boston. But the Bucks, they're 1st in offense, 15th in defense, and 1st in point differential. I mean, don't sleep on any of the Bucks.
They're a good squad.
Boston.
They're Celtics. They're pretty young too, aren't they?
Yes, they're same thing with Milwaukee. Milwaukee has some veteran depth too. That's what's so good about them. They got some shooters.
They got 2 sets of brothers on the team.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking awesome. Dude. How would you like to play with your brother?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. You're going to hear it all year. The Western Conference is so tough. The Eastern Conference is weak. It's like, it's all the NBA. Like, you're going to have a team from the East and the West playing in the finals regardless. I think, the West is obviously stacked. Like, the race is going to be tight. It's going to be really interesting out West. But in the East, it's going to be close, too. I really don't see – it's obviously
It's basically a 2-team race at this point in the season.
Seems like.
Barring injury, at this point, it is a 2-team race. But I think that he could definitely make a run near the end of the season. I think Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero have done a damn good job. Obviously, Kendrick Nunn
dude has stepped. I thought that was just going to be like a hoax, maybe have a few good games here or there. That kid,
what I tell you,
he's legit.
Everything
bro.
I say.
I swear, hey, he got.
Let's hold up just a little bit. Let's
right.
not be. You're not the big swinging dick.
Chill out.
Bro.
We're just on that.
But obviously,
the East is going to be competitive. It's going to be fun to watch regardless.
Oh, for sure.
And I think the East is a very. The East seems to be a lot younger, so you never know. Like here in a few years, the East could really start putting on. Like
back in the early 2000s, that's what it was. The East was the conference that everyone feared.
Well, now you had we had Braun always on the East, and now he's on the West.
In the East, you got teams 1 through 7 that are going to be really, I think, just battling it out. Obviously, I think the Bucks are going to handle the East at the rate they're playing 17-3 right now.
I think the Sixers are always a real good squad too. Like
I think the Sixers are too. The Sixers, the problem with the
they're
Sixers,
kind of getting slept on a little bit.
I just think they lack shooting.
They do.
That's the only problem with them. They
got rid of Tobias Harris. That was.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Philly, they still got Tobias.
No, they got Tobias.
Adding him. They added him.
Oh yeah.
They added Josh
Richardson
lost too. They lost
JJ
Redick and Jimmy.
Yeah, so they lost shooting, but they. They're still good.
Yeah, I feel that though. They probably do lack shooting because if you lose JJ Redick and Jimmy, that was their core right there. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
They've won 3. They've won 3 straight. They're sitting at 5th in the East.
I think the Pacers, once they get Vic back, oh shit. But you can't be winning in overtime by 1 against the fucking Atlanta Hawks. Are you kidding me? There's a reason why they were 4-14 at the time.
And then also props to the Raptors because
Siakam
and Van Vliet, they're getting shit done.
I'm telling you, man. And I've said it on the previous
they're a dominated duo.
They are
right
not
now.
Going away. So
once you get these guys in mid-season form, then you're really going to start seeing how things are going to shape up.
And it's always I'm telling like in every sport, it seems like that momentum going in to playoff time, biggest thing ever. Like there's always usually those 1 or 2 sleeper teams. I feel like that kind of really get things going right before the playoffs that kind of surprise people a little bit each year. So
I agree with that. I agree. Well, boys, here's another little question for you. What team's NBA title do you feel like holds the most value?
I'll let you go first on that one.
All right. I definitely think LeBron's title, his first title in Cleveland, I think holds a lot of value just because he had promised that he was going to come back and win a title at some point in Cleveland, and he got it done. He did what he said he was going to do.
Was that the comeback from the 3-1?
Yes, I believe so.
So
yeah.
that was
coming
pretty.
back from 3-1,
that was surreal.
First time ever.
That was surreal.
Like, come on now.
That shit was crazy.
And also the second one and the final one that I had, I think Kawhi's title in Toronto was something that I did not expect that.
Really?
I'm going to be honest with you.
No,
Just
I
because
didn't either.
you got to think, man. I think everyone knew that he was going to stay in Toronto for like a small period of time, okay? And I don't think most people thought that they were going to actually be competing for a championship. But then, all of a sudden, he hits the shot on Joel. Joel goes out.
That
crying.
Sixers game was crazy. That shot was insane.
Yeah, and then they go on to the Bucks. I mean, Kawhi slams all over the freak. And then they go on and win a title against Golden State. He's taken down 2 dynasties now. He took down the obviously the big 3 in Miami. Took down obviously the Golden State last year. I mean, that title was something special.
I think the 2 that you mentioned are right on it. Those 2 definitely had a lot of weight. I think D Wade's first title in Miami.
Oh, that was awesome.
He had Shaq with him. I think that still was a lot of value to
and I think
him
and
as a
Shaq
player.
also said,
and to the organization. I mean, that really laid the groundwork for maybe LeBron coming in. I mean, you saw the potential was there, so that led to him coming there and winning 3 more championships.
Exactly,
so
I
that's
feel that.
Up there for me.
And Shaq even said, I was watching an interview. Shaq had even said that when he got to Miami, he literally told D Wade the first practice, "Hey, this ain't my team. This is your team. You've already set the ground rule.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've already set the groundwork. This is your team. Go out and get it, and I'll help you along the way." And look what they did. They accomplished a lot. They had Jay Will on that team too. I like chocolate.
Oh,
they had
really?
Penny Hardaway on that team. I think they had Gary Payton too.
Dude, that
was an old squad.
That's a
bro.
squad. Mine's actually kind of like a big throwback because I was just trying to think like one of the most memorable title like series I've watched, and I went back to like '84, way back, like when Magic and Bird were facing off in that 7-game series. Because
hell yes.
I think it was Game 4. There was like McHale or someone. There was like a clothesline or like a big little brawl or something for a second.
Bird laying at that.
Larry was in there scrapping
I know,
too.
bro. Larry Bird. God, I love Larry.
And then Boston came up with it. I'm almost positive, and I just loved the tenacity like of that age. It was awesome.
I'm telling you, man, it was just a different breed of basketball.
They actually made a 30 for 30 about like that Celtics Lakers rivalry.
It was like a
and
7-part series or some shit like that.
And that was that was a big aspect of that 30 for 30. So I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, definitely.
I think another one would be when Kawhi beat LeBron in Miami.
Yes, that was my third, but I only wanted to mention 2. But yes, that obviously holds a lot of value too because you literally took down one of the greatest NBA dynasties of all time. I mean,
that was an insane big 3 right there.
Oh, that was nuts. And honestly, I think they should if it weren't for Ray Allen's 3 in the series before
that one where he ties it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they would not have won that second one.
That was a wild play too.
Ray Allen somewhat saved LeBron's legacy in that.
Even Dallas beating Miami with Dirk whenever they were like that's gotta hold some value.
That was a one-man show, bro.
It really was. Like I wonder who else they had.
They had Jason Kidd. They had JJ Barea. He's been playing for the Magic.
Oh my
God
gosh.
knows how long. I remember in that series. No, it was in the Western Conference finals. Remember Andrew Bynum absolutely leveled JJ Barea on like one of the last plays of the game.
I don't know if I remember that, but that sounds.
You don't. I'll show you
JJ's so small and Bynum's huge.
I'll show you afterwards. It's bad.
They had Tyson Chandler on that squad. You got Sean Marion.
He had the ugliest
weirdest shot, but
ever.
it was cash. It was cash.
Karan Butler, Peja Stojakovic.
Was on that squad.
Yeah. Karan Butler was a dog. He slept on.
Very slept on.
Corey Brewer.
Corey Brewer was always a key.
In the league, isn't he?
He was always a key
player.
player.
Sixers last year. Remember Ingram slammed all over him and was laughing.
And look at this. Listen to this coaching staff. You had Rick Carlisle as the head coach, and you had Terry Stotts, Dwayne Casey, 2 current NBA coaches on that staff. So.
Hey, it's kind of cool, like going back and seeing that too, because like now you see, you're like, all right, I can see why they did it. Okay, that's how they got it done.
For sure.
All right, boys. I think it's time that we move on to a little bit of a random thoughts section here.
Random thoughts.
Here's a
Get it.
little question for you. At what age would you allow your child/children to start consuming cannabis?
Well, I would.
Random thought.
A little random.
I would probably say high school because, but I mean I think it's different for everybody. It really depends how you grow up. I think it depends what you understand. Like if I think like if I were to have a conversation with my kid or something about it, and he were to prove to me that he kind of knew a decent amount about it, you know, understands it pretty well. He's not just like doing it to do it. He's maybe being productive off of it as well, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping his grades up, stuff like that. Like that's my big thing when I'm gonna be a parent eventually is like I'm cool with what my kid wants to do. Like as long as he's staying like within his rights and everything, obviously.
Yeah, I feel that.
but as long as he's being productive, keeping shit up, like I don't see why not. Like, you know, it's if it's helping you, it's helping you.
Like looking on it, like I mean, from our age, like look, it's not been as generally accepted or even talked about. Like so, you know, for us, it'd been like more at the college level. But I think like they're gonna get into it sooner than later because it's gonna
Exactly.
be
And I think
it's gonna be legal. So.
I think it'll be more of a
High school's
a
good.
mainstream thing when we actually have kids.
Yeah,
down
I think
the line,
so,
'cause-
High school's fine, I think, to know about it. Obviously, kids are gonna, but I mean, they're gonna start implementing. You know, once it gets out of hand, like if people are just in school with it, like
Yeah, see, you can't be.
You have to be
know,
smart.
maybe
with
more
it.
so.
There's
right
always,
after high school.
You have to know what you're ingesting in your body.
There's
you
a
know?
time and a place.
Yes,
Always.
always.
There's a time and a place for most things.
I'd say 18 would be a good age that
See, I like
I would
that.
allow my
I was
kid
thinking
to
more
smoke.
probably towards the end
Just
of high
because
school.
I don't. Throughout high school, I want my kid to get their education. Like I want them to focus on school, getting through it, and then I think once they hit college, like I don't give a damn what you do, but as long as you're getting your shit done, you're on it. Like you're getting good grades, you're keeping up with things at home. Like
Exactly.
you're
I just
staying
want to
in
see the,
contact with
the
us.
productivity, bro.
Like I think that's perfectly fine. But I think through high school, if like my child does get into marijuana, like I'll personally take him aside and be like, hey, look,
Exactly. I'm gonna sit down and have a talk.
you know what you're messing with here, don't you? Do you know everything, like what you're doing? And you must know, like you said previously, there is always a time and a place to do it. So I'd say 18 would be a good age to allow my kid to smoke and like consume cannabis.
Exactly. Like just be smart about it, man.
So here's another little random question: who are your guys' idols? Who were your guys' idols growing up?
You know, I kind of picked a idol I've kind of had over the past few years now, and I've said Gary Vee because I feel like he's really helped me personally, like get a better mindset of just trying to get and go and get what I want to do. Like really make sure that I'm being productive, kind of staying on my shit, and if not, like it's on me. Like there's nothing else about it. And then on top of him, I put Steve Jobs just because I think that man is like he's a legend.
Oh, he
Like-
obviously
like I felt-
created fucking Apple.
I felt like it was such a creative outlet, but it was like simplistic at the same time.
Didn't he
because
start out of his garage?
yeah, I
Apple?
think he did but like at the same time, like I feel like the design of Apple products is such a simplistic like form. Like I think he's a legend for that. Like kind of matching technology and humane actions, you know, to something that everybody can kind of understand. Because I feel like everybody knows how to use an iPhone, but you get an Android sometimes, you're like, hey, bro, where's the camera at? I don't even like. How do you get to photos or something like?
I agree with that.
You'll
He
be
has
looking
made
around for it a little
very
bit more.
simple, like.
I think for me, like this is gonna sound like cliche, and you know, like LeBron James, like being a basketball fan, like I am,
That
like,
leadership.
what I want to do. Just like growing up, it was always about LeBron James. That's when he was coming into his own. He was really just taking the world by storm about who he was. And I think, you know, there has come with some arrogance to that, but I think he's done a lot of good. Like with having all these
He's
eyes
done
on
way
him.
more good than
He's
bad.
created a school, like I just think with all that light in his face and for what he can do, like this, like 'cause I mean the skill that he has, I just think that's something you have to idolize because he loves to give back. Came from like a single parent home, came from nothing and really built to what he's got now, and just never gave up on that.
I mean, they got their own. He got like his own school now for like
Exactly, that's what I'm
kids that
saying.
need
Like
help and
just the
stuff.
things that he does, I think he's a good idol to have.
I like that.
I think obviously you guys may know this, but Juju is one of my idols, definitely. Just from the sense that he does whatever the hell he wants to do, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks. Like, he is the most millennial man you will ever meet in your entire life. He is the definition of a millennial, but he lives up to that name. Like, he's done so much good. He has a Juju Foundation, like you said about LeBron. Juju has done so much good. I mean, the only bad that may come with Juju is, yeah, he may be a little bit immature at times, but hey, I mean, shit, you gotta have a little bit of childlike to you. You know, he's a young guy. Live it up, bruh. Come on now.
And by the way, since you guys just both said that, like, that's something down the line that, like, I would love for us to be able to do with this, like something charitable in general,
definitely.
like maybe starting something down the line, maybe just having a big donation to where we can donate to something, maybe an event where people can bring in donations, something like that. Like, I definitely want to implement that.
Always good to give back, man. ASAP for the people.
Exactly.
Sure. My second one that I had would be old Papa Storm. Because I'll tell you, that man literally came from rags to riches, and he's done exactly what it takes to raise his kids and doing it the right way. He's done it the right way throughout my entire life, and I can't thank Big Man enough for that. So props to fucking Papa Storm.
I love that.
All right, now let's go on to the next one. If you had to choose an athlete to be for a day, who would you be?
I was just kind of going off top right now. I'm just kind of thinking nowadays. I said Luka. I feel like that man's putting on a show right now. He's got to be.
He's probably getting endless.
Got to be getting
too.
some bitches. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got to be getting some bitches.
He's getting ass like a toilet seat, buddy.
Getting more ass than a toilet seat. That's right. But yeah, I mean, I think Luka just because. I mean, he's shown leadership. Like, I think it'd just be dope to be him. Like, second year in the league, dogging like that. Like, why would you not want to be that kind of athlete? He's killing it.
I know. He's not even 21 yet. The kid can't even drink.
Shoot, I'll go, man. The GOAT Jackson, Lamar Jackson. I'd be him for a day. That doesn't seem like too bad of a spot to be in right now.
No, scenario. He might probably getting some heavy ass.
Once again, probably getting ass like a toilet seat.
I mean, they have that, but just what he can do on a football field.
Oh my! To have that type of athleticism,
insane.
Holy shit.
And just to prove everybody wrong too. Like, he's just in that spot where nobody believed in him, but. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
I like that. I'd go with Kawhi, man. And the only reason why I'd be Kawhi is, man, I would be more talkative, dude. I would absolutely run the show. If I were him for a day, I'd be hitting up every other, like, endorsement. Hey, I'm the board man. The board man's gone.
Hey, what's up, man?
I just want to be Kawhi because I feel like I'd be way more vocal than he is. Like, I would actually go out in the limelight and absolutely
I like that because that's my biggest pet peeve with him. And, like, obviously, I understand it, though. I'm sure he has fun off and on the court. We just don't see it.
I know, dude.
You know, I just want to see it a little more.
He's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy. All right, now, boys, I think that all wraps up our random thoughts, and I think we should move on to a little bit of inspiration. What do y'all say to the people to keep them inspired and keep them motivated?
You know, I say just keep moving forward today because, you know, you're up against a brick wall sometimes. You know, you can't take any steps back. You got to keep going forward. Don't try to stay stationary. Don't stay in that one spot. If you're going through something, continue to really, like, push through it. Continue to, like, everybody goes through hardships every single day, every single week. It's going to happen. But eventually, you know, it'll blow over. If it's something detrimental, like, you can always kind of take it in and, you know, deal with that over time. But I just think that's the most important thing, to just try to keep moving forward each and every day.
I feel that. I feel that. What do you think, Elijah?
I think just keep chasing your dreams, man. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams just because, you know, maybe somebody else tries to put you down on yours. Just put your own happiness first. You know, you're at the end of the day, like we've said before, you're in control of your own happiness. Gary Vee likes to talk about happiness should be the North Star. So I think just continue to push through whatever you're going through. You know, there's always going to be struggles, but stay down, man. Success is just on that other end.
I feel that, and I agree with that. That's part of my message too. I think staying down, staying humble is a big aspect of staying motivated as well. Also, one thing that I feel like people need to stop doing, trying to compare yourselves to all these different social media accounts, like all these different celebrities, man. They created their own wave. Like, they created their own path. Create yours.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't do it.
Same thing.
And I think that's a huge thing right now with so much going on with social media. Like, people just see all this other stuff and, like, they feel they almost like it almost makes you feel like worse sometimes about like seeing people do greater stuff like but at the same time like
They're probably
don't get down on that. Like, they work their ass off to get where they're at. Like, you can do that.
And if you create your own success.
And if you actually got the chance to talk to some of these people that are like that, they would tell you the same. They would say that they're on your side. They're encouraging you to win. Like, just encourage somebody else to win. Like, you don't know what they,
and like,
how they may be feeling.
And, like, my thing is, like, I love competition. I love good competition, but I like if there's more room for everybody at the top, you know? I like seeing everybody eat. I like
everybody eats.
And we'll leave y'all with that ASAP from the net.
ASAP from the net. Thanks y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all next time.
RP, man.